While they say good health is not just the absence of a disease, it is a complete state of mental, physical, as well as social well-being. And this being a new year, we just want to understand what exactly does healthy lifestyle encompass? Because for majority of us, when it is the beginning of a year, we set goals for ourselves, and one of them is to stay healthy. So how do you stay on track, and what exactly does healthy living mean? Well, that is what we'll be focusing on the show. So welcome. This is Health Diary. My name is Winnie Lubembe, and we're coming to you from 4 Points by Sheraton right here in Hurlingham. As you prepare for the conversation, just as we do, take a look at this fact of the matter.
Healthy living is having the opportunity, capability, and motivation to act in a way that positively affects one's physical and mental well-being. To ensure a healthy lifestyle, WHO recommends eating lots of fruits and vegetables, reducing fat, sugar and salt intake, and exercising.
Well, hashtag New Year, New Me, is that a thing? And what exactly does that entail, especially when we're talking about healthy lifestyle? That is what we just want to understand today. And of course, to help us with that conversation, we have George Kamau, who's a nutritionist from Weight Center. So good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
And we also have Fatma Mohammed, who's the founder of Wellnesske. But Fatma is here to share her experience before embracing the healthy lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Before and after. So it's so good to have you. How
Thank
are you feeling?
I'm good, and I
Yes.
can't wait for a good year. I'm hoping
Right.
everyone is going to have a healthy one, and
Yes. And I love that healthy one,
Yeah.
not a
A
good
healthy
one.
one,
A healthy
just-
one
yeah.
is what we want
Yeah.
above anything else. But George, when we say healthy lifestyle, what exactly does that entail?
I think for healthy lifestyle, it means having everything in good balance. And when I say everything, we're looking at basically what you're eating. So food is a big factor of healthy living.
Right.
Of course, also how you're spending that kind of food that you obtain, because food gives you energy. So what kind of workouts you're into. So basically also mental health. So if I was to break it down into 5, I would say having these 5 things in place, having your spiritual person in place, having your emotional person in place, having your physical you in place, having the mental you in place, and having your possessions in place.
Fatma, for you, again, you've embraced healthy lifestyle for a while now, right? But how about we go back?
Yeah.
way back before age 21,
Yeah.
when you were diagnosed with fibroids.
Yeah.
So before then, what was Fatma like?
I would say at that time I wasn't really big on healthy living, and especially with the diet part, because I was very skinny. I just knew I can eat whatever I want. I didn't gain any weight, so I was more focused on just living life and work, whatever. But my lifestyle was not as healthy, and I didn't know as much about what to do in terms of taking care of your health, and also understanding. I like the fact that George has mentioned understanding the fact that it's wellness that comes to play. It's not just health, it's wellness, meaning you take care of yourself. So all the dimensions. So I can say at the moment I'm fully aware of all the dimensions, and I work towards them. And even for anyone who's trying to have a better year, they need to understand that nobody is perfect. You're not going to achieve all that, but the fact that you're aware and you strive towards it means you're living in a state of wellness.
So then what exactly does unhealthy lifestyle mean?
I would say that is a very broad question. Unhealthy lifestyle really encompasses a lot of things. To different people, it's different things. And by that I mean that depending on what kind of results your life is showing right now, it will show you what kind of unhealthy habits you've been having. Say for someone who has maybe obesity, that weight has crept in over maybe the last year, because now we're beginning a year, then the habits that perhaps got you there is maybe overeating without knowing it, or you're eating the wrong kind of foods. If perhaps for someone who has maybe diabetes or something, then the kind of life that you're leading, maybe you're not taking enough water, you're not eating enough fats, like your plate is not properly outlined in terms of the macronutrients. By that I mean the fats, the carbohydrates, and the proteins. So for someone with diabetes, then the fats should be a lot more than everything else on that plate. And by fats, I mean healthy fats. Most of us, I think, our lives have become a bit more sedentary than it used to be. Reason for that is because we have a lot more conveniences available for us. If I want to move from point A to point B, I can take a Boda, I can take an Uber, I can, I don't need to move on my feet. In case I want to go up to, a particular level of the building, I can take the lift. Previously, before these amenities were there, my feet, my body would have to do those things for us. While it seemed like it is work and inconvenience, it was actually a beautiful thing for our health because it exercised the body. Now, that's why when you look at all these many aspects, unhealthy lifestyle really can be checked by what kind of condition are you having right now. That is the best way to tell what have I been doing and how to turn it back around.
Fatma, so at 21 diagnosed with fibroids, right? And you said when something happens to you is when you come to a halt to be like, okay, wait, what happened? All right, so do you want to take us through that period for you?
Yeah, so for me at 21 was when I was diagnosed with fibroids. Fibroids are caused by high levels of estrogen, so that means your estrogen levels are high. What they need to tell you is you need to go back home and figure out how you can balance your hormones and make sure that your estrogen levels are not high. They need to ask you about family history, and you do have family history. Then your sisters, your mom, your aunties, all of them need to do the same thing in terms of their diet and nutrition. So more healthy greens, taking a lot of green tea, taking a lot of neem, things like that, stuff that's going to actually balance your hormones. Movement, because estrogen doesn't just come from your ovaries, it also is stored in fat cells and produced by fat cells. So if you can reduce the amount of weight that you have, you'll also be able to lower your chances of it getting worse. So I think my biggest issue at that time was the information. I did not know. And unfortunately, because I was desperate, I wanted to spend money and buy everything, but I was really misinformed. Some people told me don't eat avocados because the fat forms around the fibroids, which is a lie. Someone told me drink a lot of milk during a period, which brought me a lot of inflammation. I can't even drink milk anymore now. So it's because these people are trying to sell something to you and you're desperate. So for anyone who is even diagnosed with the condition, they need to understand their body, their hormones, and how they need to fix that naturally.
Absolutely. George, again, some might be watching us and thinking, oh, okay, what is the relationship? And of course, let's just first of all understand our diet and how that impacts our body, that then the body sort of either reacts or acts, against what we're consuming.
So basically, when it comes to what kinds of foods to have, I would say, number one, the rules of thumb. Try and steer away from processed foods as best and as much as you can. I know at times that is difficult to do, but really when you think about, when you really put your mind to it, then the options begin to emerge, what you're able to have. So for a normal breakfast, I know we're used to a cup of tea and maybe a slice of bread and all that, but when you think about other options, you can have things like arrowroots, you have sweet potatoes, you have plantains, you can have a normal like leftovers from last night. You can use that this morning. Right.
They're the tastiest.
They're tasty in the morning, right?
Yes, that's very true.
So you can consider that as well. If you're seated behind a desk, something, or maybe you're on the move a lot, so maybe thinking of maybe a snack somewhere might be a bit difficult. So think of something small, like maybe a bag of nuts, the 30-gram bag of nuts, have that. You'll be amazed at how little energy your body requires to get about. So typically, a cup of 250 grams is enough to form a whole meal. So like one plate, a whole plate, everything in that meal, when you say I'm having like say breakfast or the main meals, let it fit into that 250 gram cup and be okay. And that's it. Hey. And then in another 4 hours do something else, another 250 grams. You'll find that by the end of the day, if you've done 4 meals, then you have about a kg of food in your system by the end of the day. But then it is, you don't want to have the 500 or maybe 800 grams in the morning or the whole 1 kg in the one sitting. So you want to observe that. Again, the reason I think I say stay away from processed foods is basically the formula or the process by which they are brought about. It changes their chemical composition. And that chemical composition tends to go again and affect, like she mentioned, the endocrine system. So when you look at the hormones, they are really affected grave adversely by the chemicals released in the foods.
Okay. All right. So then let's take a break. But when we come back, we want to understand, you mentioned a little bit about the healthy fats. So we just want to understand what exactly are they. And then the whole aspect of 200 grams for breakfast. I am so stuck there. But so I would say, is that dependent on, for example, the kind of work you do, right? Because there's someone who's seated at the desk from 8 to 5, and then there's someone like mjengo, mjengo. So then, is there like a difference of the theme, and also the whole aspect of staying consistent to healthy living? Because some of us, like we said, #New Year, New Me. We start end of January, we're already tired. So how do we stay consistent? Well, all that is coming up after the break. Stay with us. This is Health Diary. All right, welcome back. The show is Health Diary, and today it's all about healthy lifestyle because, like we said, it's the start of a new year. I know most of us have goals, and one of the goals, like the most common goal that most people have, is to start healthy living. But the question is, do we really know what healthy lifestyle is all about, and how do you stay consistent? And of course, to help us with that conversation, we have George Kamau, who's a nutritionist from Weight Center, as well as Fatma Mohammed, founder, Wellnesske. All of them here to really just help us understand what healthy living is all about. So, so very quickly, George, on that aspect of healthy fats, just to make it clear for people, what exactly does that?
Fats in foods do not actually become fats in the body.
Okay.
It doesn't work like that. It is excess energy from foods that becomes fat in the body. So anytime you consume food that is giving you more energy than you actually are spending, irrespective of what that food was, even if it is a sweet that you ate and it gave you more energy than you needed, then it is converted to fats.
To fat,
So anything that gives you excess energy. Now, when you talk about healthy fats, you're looking at fats that occur naturally. So an avocado, like you said, avocado is good. So have avocado as much as you want. Of course, when I say as much as you want, you also want to,
within reason.
Exactly. There is nuts, like I mentioned, so all kinds of nuts. Have them as you wish. They can serve as snacks. The reason why this would be ideal is because fats, especially the natural fats, they release the energy very slowly. And someone who's doing like an 8 to 5 job, the expenditure or the way they consume energy is also very slow. So you want to equal or spend more than you are actually consuming in case you're trying to lose weight. In case you want to maintain, then spend equal to how much you're putting in.
All right.
So that is why fats are really good. Something else that constitutes healthy fats is the cream from milk. If you can get that. So that also is very good because it is natural. Something else that also constitutes good fat is the fat that comes with the meat. I know people are going for lean meat.
Yes, it's like
but that fat in the nyama, that is good fat. Supplements are foods that are processed, allow effectiveness of a particular outcome. So it allows the body to arrive at a particular outcome faster than normal foods would. So maybe consider that. Okay. So before you, so then after the diagnosis, and of course went through the whole treatment process, right? What are some of the changes that then you had to make just to make sure that you help your body as well to take care of itself?
The biggest one was diet, because my diet had to change. So eating foods like cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, and a lot of greens, green tea, turmeric tea, eating a lot of healthy fats, as George has mentioned, and also, you know, things that just supported my hormone health.
Okay.
So even for women who are worried about eating fats, they need to know that fats also play a very important role. They are the ones that are needed for hormone production. So in order for you to produce the right amount of hormones, you're going to need to eat things like chia seeds, sesame seeds, and add them to your oats and stuff like that. So the biggest one was my diet. And then I also went vegan because I realized that animal protein was really reacting with me. So when it came to milk, I had a lot of inflammation. At that time, I did not know that that was what inflammation was. So my body was very inflamed, even like my stomach, my uterine area. It was very painful. If someone touched me, I felt like there was something inside there, even after the surgery. So I knew I was still inflamed. And then also I realized that with red meat, and whenever I would get my menses, it was very heavy, very painful. But the moment I stopped, I went back to, I was fine. And then I lost the excess weight. I continued on with fitness. I was not very, because before I was trying to train really hard. I was very much into sports, and I trained in martial arts and boxing and stuff like that. But then the healing process, I had to now train as per my body and what it wanted. So I did more yoga, more meditation, breathing exercises, feeling what my body really wants, as opposed to I'm trying to stay to a certain size. So when I did that, I noticed that my body actually ended up having more ease, as opposed to me trying really hard to do what I'm seeing everyone doing. So that's also important there, the fitness part. And then the other thing I changed was I had to be very careful with stress levels, because I was not aware, because I was everything I was doing in life was just putting me in that fight or flight. I was very stressed.
Like you wanted things to happen.
I really did, and I wanted to achieve. I wanted to do so many things, and I didn't know that was actually affecting my health. So I would hear about people talking about meditation. I thought it was something that people in the West do until I started doing it myself, and I saw that it would calm me. It made me, you know, it improved my health in a very big way.
And George, very quickly, she mentioned diet. And of course, there's usually a big debate around diet. Does it work? Does it not? Me, I'm just on juices alone. I don't do anything. Help us really understand, you know, like the nitty-gritties as far as diet is concerned, and some of the mistakes that people do when it comes to diet.
Okay, I would say everyone's diet must be tailored to the person. That's number one. If you give a generic diet, you might not get as very specific results as you're looking for, or as the results may not be as good as you desire. But rule of thumb is, again, the fats, generally looking at how our lives really are, the fats must make the most part of your meal, the proteins second, the carbohydrates after. Then try and do small meals across the day. Some people will do intermittent fasting, and that is also plausible if you can hack it. And there are different kinds of intermittent fasting, and no meal really should be bigger than any other. Much as we have the carbohydrates.
We have
the breakfast. We have
heavy.
As much as you're talking about a heavy breakfast, the whole idea behind the heavy breakfast is the combination of foods, not the amount. The amount stays the way it ought to be, so 250 grams. Don't exceed that, really. Think of it this way: your body is a kind of a low input, high output kind of a tech, if I may say that. You put in little, it gives you a lot. So, and here is how you want to think about it. The body works in terms of the energy in the body is in form of calories, so it's measured in calories. To spend 1 calorie, you need to go about 20 to 25 steps. That's 1 calorie. So if you do something like an apple probably has something, if I can remember, maybe somewhere in the range of 50 to 75 calories. So it means 1 apple, if it is 50 calories, can help you go about 1,000 steps. roughly. Yeah, 1,000 steps, thereabout. Accept in your mind that it will take some bit of work, and accept that work. Yeah, but then don't let that put you away from not trying. Let's say go ahead and try.
And then there's the question. We need to end the conversation, but okay. There's usually this thing where people say, I'm denying myself all these things because I want to live healthy, right? The question is, does that work? You deny yourself a cake, you deny yourself fries, you deny yourself all those things just because #you're on a healthy journey.
I think you have to substitute. I would say for me, as a Costarian, our food is so good. What I had to do was I substituted. I realized that if I want to have pilau, I can still do brown rice. I'm going to use spices, they're healthy for me. If I have to use other forms of protein, I still do the same thing. There are people who, if they're not going to do red meat, they're going to do white meat. There are people who are going to take lean parts of the meat. You just substitute, because when you substitute, you realize that your brain likes what you've trained it to like. If you observe babies, what you feed a baby, they like it. Even if you don't put sugar and salt, they'll grow up not taking sugar or salt. So that means your brain is what decides what's delicious. And as Africans, we associate food with emotion, which is where we have set ourselves up for failure. Because when you're by yourself, if you're feeling low, you'll get yourself something to eat. When you want to show love to someone, you'll cook them something. But you have to separate that, and you also have to create substitutes. If you like fries, try an air fry. If you like fries, try, roasted potatoes. You're still going to eat potatoes, they're still going to taste good, imagine. And you will not have to deal with trans fats, and you'll not have to deal with all that.
So then, staying consistent again, like you said, you had to train your mind and did a bit of alteration here and there just to make sure that you find what exactly works for you, right? So then what is it that you will tell people, and especially us women, we want to stick by what someone else did and it worked for them.
I know.
So really, in terms of just observing healthy lifestyle and staying consistent, what would you say in like 30 seconds?
I would say number one, don't eat less, just eat right. When you eat right, you'll be full. If you eat a whole plate of white refined carbohydrates, you'll be hungry after an hour or two. If you eat solid complex carbohydrates and some good fats and some protein, you'll be full throughout the day. So eat right as opposed to eating less, and then don't give yourself too much pressure. If there are things that you feel you can't live without, try and find a healthy substitute. The internet is loaded with them. Find that substitute, start out, and you realize it's just your brain tricking you, and you'll make it. You'll actually maintain a healthy lifestyle.
I love that. Optimism in this new year. All right, and George, what would you say very quickly to everybody who's watching us as far as maintaining healthy lifestyle?
I would say the two major things about maintaining a good lifestyle is watching what you eat and also the kind of activity that you're into. So how much are you exercising your body? Now, there are all kinds of exercises, there are all kinds of routines that you can do. Again, figure out which one works best for you. The way to figure out is to go and try. So go try it. If it doesn't work out, that doesn't mean that you stop. It means that you search for something else. It means just scratch that out, that doesn't work for me, try out something else. There are all sorts of available tools to help you do that. YouTube is a wonderful resource. Same thing, I'll echo what Fatma has also said, eating right. And for that is, again, find what is a good balance for you. Not all foods will work for you. Not all kinds of diets will work for you. But then go out there. Diets are available. See what works. See what kind of method works. Is it the 12-12? Is it intermittent fasting? The things I would say just briefly, introduce shock events. Shock events, especially when you're trying, this is for people who are trying to lose weight quickly. Introduce a shock event for like 2 weeks. So a shock event is where you're really a bit harsh on your body, and then after the 2 weeks, take a break for like a week or 2 weeks, and then another shock event. So you work with those harsh kind of models, but then they should not be for a long time of period. So that way, at least even your brain knows, I have 8 days to go. I have 2 days to go.
Something to look forward to.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, George. Of course, George Kamau, a nutritionist from Weight Center. Weight Center, yes. Right? And of course, as well as Fatma Mohammed, founder Wellnesske. Thank you very much to both of you for coming. I know this is a conversation that we cannot just have in 30 minutes and then we're done with. No, so we can try and have as many of such conversations as healthy lifestyle is concerned, at least during this first quarter, I would say, of the year is when we're pumped up for the year. Healthy new year. So we'll try as much as and do that, but for now, thank you very much. Very insightful. We've learned a lot. I'm still a little bit bitter about the avocado, but it's fine. We try. All right?
Avocado is big.
Yeah, it's big. Everyone knows.
Right? Yeah. But anyway, time now for you to take a look at this health tip.
Fibroids is a condition that is caused by hard tissue. Hard tissue means the teeth, the bones in your body taking up too much fluoride when they are forming. Most important time to avoid fibroids is when a child is between 0 to 8 years old. So at birth there's some permanent teeth that have already started forming in the baby's mouth, even if you cannot see, they're already in the bone. So whatever they consume, whether in drinking water, in food, will affect their teeth finally when they come out at 7, 8 years. That's for the permanent teeth. Okay, so depending on how much fluoride is in the water, it will manifest on the teeth. So if it was very little fluoride, then they're going to be like white patches. You'll see they look a bit too white. If it's too much, then they start to become brown. So it can be so severe that the teeth are becoming brittle and they chip off.
Well, after all goals are set, the biggest work is to stay consistent. And we hope that from today's conversation, you've learned a lot, and especially when it comes to observing healthy lifestyle and staying consistent with the same. But if you have more questions, feel free to engage with us on our social media handles down at the bottom of your screen. My name is Winnie Lubembe. A special thanks to 4 Points by Sheraton for hosting us today. Until next time, adios. Wellness, nimesahau. Sorry. It is a complete state of wait, naangalia wapi?